So I'm a healthcare executive. I'm the president of a group of hospitals. My name is Jennifer Schomburg.
What did you struggle with before?
I think it is so busy at work, and I get really focused in on what I need to do, to better things for our staff and our patients in the community. I really didn't have really the knowledge, I think, or the capacity to wrap my arms really around appearance, right? And how I wanted to show up externally. I was really focused in on that like cerebral piece and learning. And so really how I showed up externally was something I needed help with to streamline and just focus on. And Tannya did a great job with that.
And I remember when we went into your closet, it really was like, okay, it's not that you didn't have clothes, you had clothes, but it was like, this isn't exactly the image I'm trying to portray in the position I have anymore. And so we kind
Right.
of went through it little, like we took things out as we added new things.
Yes. Well, and I remember it was funny. I had stories behind every single outfit and reasons behind it. You're like, yes, but are you really ever going to do that?
I loved it.
Yeah.
When you were wearing the clothing from before, of course you didn't have
Mhm.
time because you're busy, but how was the clothing that you were wearing before make you feel?
Yeah, I really had shopped at just a couple of stores. If you remember, I would buy multiples of one thing because it was simple and I knew how things fit. But I was stuck in a rut, and I think really dressing for positions I had had prior and not really for the positions I wanted to have in the future. And I think one, streamlining the clothing has been such an improvement in the way my whole entire day feels and the way I start the day calm and organized, but also the way I show up, definitely feeling much more confident. I think I emailed you about a month ago talking about work trips, right? Because I'm traveling quite a bit more, and having the closet on my phone. I have the app downloaded, or not the app, but I guess just the
Yeah.
link kind of hardwired on my phone. And I'm able to go right there and say, okay, how do I put together, 9 outfits out of a carry-on? And so it's just incredibly useful, not only for day to day, but also that executive travel too. One thing I want to get across is I've moved entire climates, right? I've moved from one side of the United States to the other. And so I didn't have the right clothes when I moved here. And so to be able to take that closet that we built when I was in Washington State and add just a few things, right? And kind of change them out has been, I mean, a game changer. It really has. It's been very easy.
What would you tell someone that is kind of hesitant about hiring a stylist and they're unsure about how it will help them? How
Mhm.
would you give them advice around taking that next step?
Well, I would say I can absolutely relate. My husband is actually the person who hired you for me, which is the best gift I've ever received. Um, I would say just do it. If whatever's holding you back, just do it. It is an absolute game changer, I think, for the way people show up, but also just from simplifying your entire life. I mean, every single day you're having to come up with what you are going to wear every single day. So to think about that type of investment, we buy things that we only use a couple times a year. To invest in choices that you're having to deal with every single day and save that brain power for other things. I mean, I think it's an investment in yourself and just well-being.
Yes, and talk about the theory blazer that you have on. That's one of your favorites.
Okay, so I wore this today specifically for you. I really kind of argued with you, if I recall, that because I did not want to wear patterns, so I was very averse to patterns. Because I had this idea of wanting to come across clean and organized, and I had this thing that solids, for whatever reason, solids were the way to go. And this is one of my favorite things in my closet. It is soft. That's the other thing we worked on, is that not everything has to feel stiff and uncomfortable, right?
Mhm.
Um, and so I think coming out of that thought process and having that closet where you can pull like 5 or 6 different things from my wardrobe that go very nicely with this jacket has been great.
And it has
Comfortable.
been an evolution because I tell people if you're here, even though you want to be up here, you can't get there right away. It's not a jump. Like as we work together, it's been little steps to get there. Like this is not from our first shopping trip. This is like 2 years or something in because you started to be more comfortable in what you're wearing and
Yes.
see that you're wearing the things and trusting the process. So
Mhm.
it took a little bit to get there. It wasn't like right away pushing you into like plaid.
That is such a fair comment. I mean, yes, I remember our first shopping trip and it was amazing. I had such a good time. I do want to state that. But I was like, no. I don't know if you remember that. I was like,
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
not. It's like half the thing. So I was not an easy sell. And it is so funny now, moving from that, going with you on shopping trips and now being across the country and you sending me ideas electronically. There's so many times still that I'm like, this is not going to work, but I trust you and I order it and it shows up and I'm like, this is amazing. I absolutely love this outfit. And I've laughed really hard because some of the things that I react so strongly to end up being some of my most favorite pieces and the things I wear the most. So thank you.